This slot canyon that I plan to do, I can't find out any information about it. I've talked to the BLM. They don't have much information to give me. I've looked online. Apparently it's not a very commonly used slot canyon, so I don't know quite what to expect. I'll go into it, prepared with water, rappelling gear, depending on how long it takes me to get out of there. I might have to spend one night in there. We'll see. The few pieces of information I have been able to find on it suggest that it's not a highly technical slot canyon. The name of the game this afternoon is Slow and Steady. Got a heavy backpack on, no trail, rough terrain, very easy to twist an ankle or fall and break a bone. This is not the place to do it, so take my time, enjoy the view as I go down. Well, here's the first feature. Takes a little bit of adjustment. I'm not going to try climbing down this without my pack on. So take it off, drop it down. Canyoneering with a heavy backpack is not the same as doing it with either a light day pack or no pack at all. If you're as agile, you have to be a lot more careful. It's also easy to misjudge the size of an opening because I'm about twice as big with this backpack on as I am without. And my first cottonwood. A little bit of, more than a little bit of salt cedar in this wash, an invasive species. So is the tumbleweed though. And it's pretty brushy. A lot of willow, a lot of salt cedar, a lot of cheatgrass. This is going to be a little more challenging. This is not a well-traveled trail for sure. Well, here's my first rattlesnake. Not a big one, but it doesn't take much size to give you a good bite. Here's one of those frequent reminders that these slot canyons can be dangerous in any kind of a rainstorm, whether it's here or whether it's up canyon from me. All this debris that's been piled up in these salt cedars from a flash flood that was at least as high as my head. So today's a good clear day. Has been clear for the last 3 or 4 days and it's supposed to be clear for the next several. So not worried about flash floods, but that is a good reminder. It's getting deeper and narrower, and still the bottom is choked with brush and tumbleweeds. Yeah, we'll keep going there. I keep looking for places where I can get out of here if I need to. Climb up and get out of the slot canyon and then maybe drop back down later on, but I'm pretty much committed now. Well, it's decision time now. I've come to a drop-off, and I don't know if there's another way around it, but with this heavy pack I'm not anxious about skirting around the edge up there. So the question is, do I drop down, drop my pack, rappel down in there, and continue on out and hope that this is the only impassable spot? Or do I turn around and go back? I think I'll do it. Alright, set up. So, this is, I'm sure, overly cautious, but anyway, I'm going to still try to rappel it down. So here's my anchor rock. And I'm going to lower the pack down. And then I'm going to rappel down in there. Alright, that's the plan. Alright, it's widened up a little bit. Not quite as heavily, not quite as brushy. Sure would be nice if it stayed like this for a while. Nice and shady down here. It's a hot sunny day up on top. We've got a nice little breeze down here and lots of shade. And looking down canyon, less brush. I hope it stays that way. Well, I found it. There's the water. Looks pretty skanky, but be filtered or boiled or whatever needs to be done. I think I can get around it, I hope. I don't want to swim it or wade it if I don't have to. It looks pretty deep. I bet it's waist high, chest high in the deepest part. So, look it over and see what I can do. Alright, there's the pool. I looked for a way to get around it. Too big of a drop off for me and no good rappelling anchor up there. So my only choice was to wade it. Pretty cold. Wasn't as deep as it could have been. I just hugged around this left side here. It was only maybe knee deep. Out in here it's probably waist deep or even chest deep. Okay, head on. Now there's another little wrinkle that took some care to get through with this heavy pack. But again, I'm glad I'm coming downhill, not uphill. So this one I chose to rappel down. It was a little bigger than I was comfortable with the backpack on, so I lowered the pack down and then rappelled down. Well, I shouldn't have put my ropes away. Here's one that's definitely a rappel. So hopefully this is it. A little bit of water in this one too. Okay, give her one more try. Alright, I'm thinking the worst is over. At least I'm hoping. It's getting wide enough now that it's less likely that you're going to have major blockages in the canyon. So, keep our fingers crossed and see how this goes. I'm definitely not going to be camping in this slot canyon tonight. So I'll go all the way out, change plans, camp somewhere else tonight. There's another little water puddle. It's the third one I've found so far. This is the smallest of the bunch, full of bugs, but it could be filtered or boiled, I guess. I'll keep moving on. It looked like I spoke too soon about the canyon widening out. Thinking about slot canyons, full of surprises. The thing about walkabouts, I always have a detailed plan, but I don't think I've ever had the walkabout turn out like the plan. There's always some wrinkles you don't anticipate. That's the case with this one for sure. Well, I'm going to be optimistic again and assume that the canyon has narrowed down for the last time. And so I've taken off my rappelling gear. I hope there's no more rappels or drop-offs from here. At least no huge ones. Yeah, another water pocket. Pretty narrow down in there. That's a cool one. A little tank. There's a whole series of little tanks here. Little guys, one there, one underneath this lip, another one here, another one there. Yeah, looks like I might have to put some ropes back on, just to be careful. We'll see. I think I said something a while back about the canyon being wide enough that it would be very unlikely that boulders would block the bottom of the canyon anymore. Well, that was a lie. Look at the size of these things. Big as some houses, completely blocking the canyon bottom. So I went around the side here. Been picking my way down through all this. Hopefully I can get all the way to the bottom. And when I do, it looks pretty good again, but I don't trust that anymore. What it looks like now has nothing to do with what it looks like in 100 yards. Well, there's the impasse that I just came around, and this is the route I used to get around it. Not a very good option, but it's the best I had. Alright, down canyon, brush. What was intended to be a 4-mile day is going to end up being more like a 10-mile day by the time I get out of here. Another surprise. I'm getting quite tired of these surprises. This is going to require some ropes and maybe a couple of sets. Alright, I better do some exploring here. I think I found a way around it. Let's try this out. See if it leads me down. Like so many of these detours, you have to go up first before you can go down again. Yeah, that turned out to be the way down, all right. A little rugged, but certainly better than coming down this way. And there's still more to go. Brush and ledges. Ledges and brush. Well, I wonder how close I am to the end of the canyon. It's getting pretty deep. High, sheer walls. There's no climbing out of this one now. The bottom still just full of lots of boulders and lots of brush, lots of trees, and it just keeps going. And here's another little tank, little water pocket. I still have water, so I don't need to utilize this yet, but anyway, it's good to know there is water here if I have to backtrack. Well, I'm not past all of the obstacles yet, but I am seeing a few people tracks coming up from the bottom and also going back down. Some of them look like they're small tracks like children, so if that's the case, I suspect I'm past the worst of it. Shouldn't be needing to rappel anymore anyway. Famous last words. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high, but sure is looking better. I'm guessing that I'm within half mile of the mouth of this slot canyon. Maybe closer. The big question is, how many more surprises are there? I can't get out of my mind the story of this canyoneering guy who several years ago was doing some solo climbing, rappelling in some of this country. A big rock fell, wedged against his arm. Couldn't get out, couldn't go up, couldn't go down. He was stuck. He ended up having to cut his arm off with his own pocket knife, a dull pocket knife at that. So I think about that every time I step on one of these rocks, making sure that it's steady before I put my weight on it. I finally realized I forgot to eat lunch today, and so I decided, okay, let's take a break. I'm going to stop, wait here for maybe an hour, eat some lunch, finish off what water I have, and just relax for a bit before the final push. Okay, well, I took an hour's break, got as hydrated as I could with what water I had left, and ate some lunch, had a little nap, and now I think I can make it. Like I said, I had twice as much water as I thought I needed for today. I had 2 days worth of water. I've gone through both days worth, and I'm still not out of this canyon yet on the first day. So, alright, time to leave the shade of my big rock. Make the last push. I think that distant ridgeline out there is on the opposite side of the main canyon that I'm heading to. So once I get to the main canyon, I've stashed an emergency cache of water down in there, just in case I got in a situation like this. And somewhere down in there is where I'll camp tonight. Well, hallelujah, I found what I was looking for, the end of the slot canyon. So this is the entrance into the main canyon, and I will camp somewhere out in here tonight. And It's a long day. That is a slot canyon that I never intend to do again. Interesting the first time, but I won't be going back there. I think I'll go up canyon now to find a campsite. Just follow the wash as I go. Go till I find a good spot. It was a tough day today for a 70-year-old man. What a luxury it is to walk up a wash that's not filled with giant boulders. This is looking almost like a road. This gravel wash now. No boulders. Easy walking. I'm glad the last mile is like this instead of the previous mile. Not sure I would have made it. I made it. This is where I'm going to camp tonight. I'll put my tent right there next to that big rock. What a view. Tonight on the menu, ramen noodles, and then cheese and hot dog quesadilla. Kind of a blending of two cultures. Hot dogs and quesadillas, they don't really go together, you wouldn't think. Now when you're hungry, not anything tastes good. One thing about eating meals in the desert, everything, literally everything, has sand in it. You just have to get used to it. So I changed my mind, decided to do a burrito instead of a quesadilla. So I have a hot dog and cheese burrito. All right, time for dinner. Hot. But good. Tastes good, just a little gritty. There's always sand in your food when you eat in the desert.